Go, 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 let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick, I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers.
Back on the battlefield, Tanjiro and Muichiro sat down, as now another Hashira would arrive. The flame Hashira Rengoku greets them and congratulates the two of them for defeating a lower moon demon. This is where he also takes them back to the Slayer base. Many of the Slayers have their injuries patched, however Muichiro heads off early to continue doing missions. While he does so, Tanjiro decides to take part in some of his own training. He reflects on the battle that he just had and his decision making. He's a great fighter, but because he was a new member of the Slayer Corps, he believed his reactions to certain things could be greatly improved upon. So during this time is also when Muzan has his lower moon demons try to track down the Tsukigikuni family. A month or two pass and Tanjiro gets word that a demon is near his hometown, so he heads there immediately. He follows his eagle back to the town to see it was peaceful, which didn't make sense at all. Why? Why was everything so perfect? And where was this demon? Tanjiro then picks up its scent and heads that way. His eyes would widen as he gets closer and closer towards his house as he began praying while running. No, please, just no. When he arrives, all he can see is some of his family outside their home, covered in blood. I can't be too late. Tanjiro slides the door open, seeing a demon stand up. His black hair flowed in the snowy wind, and Tanjiro looked around, seeing the rest of his siblings, and even Nezuko. And for the first time in his life, he felt a true rage, like no other, and completely blacked out. As when he woke up, he was tied to the ground, and stood before the Hashira, with someone tied up next to him. That was his sister Nezuko. Tanjiro smiled, looking towards her, but her demonic eyes shocked him. The Wind Hashira then holds him down and tells the others to awake. This is when they begin arguing about his demon sister that killed his family, which angered him. He sweeps the feet of Sanemi, breaking the ropes behind him and freeing himself. As he ducks under the blade of Obanai, he then pulls Nezuko away from them. Stay away from her. A man with black hair did this, not my younger sister. Sanemi yells at Tanjiro, calling him a liar. But Kaguya Ubuyashiki then walked forward. Calm down, my children. The boy you were so mad at was actually the one to confront the demon known as Muzan. All the Hashira then turned to him and bombarded him with questions, asking how he survived the battle. Battle? Tanjiro looks at them puzzled, not knowing what they were talking about at all, as this is when Kaguya pointed to Giyu. Well, why don't you tell them what you saw? Giyu sighs, as here we get a flashback from his point of view. He was running through the snowstorm and made it to the Tsukigikuni family home. As he arrived, Muzan then jumped through the side of the building, and out from it, following him, was Tanjiro with his slayer mark and his eyes completely white. He was unconscious and fighting the Lord of Demons. Giyu looked at Muzan, completely dumbfounded. He's supposed to be the king of these creatures that strikes fear into all. So why do I feel pity for him? Giyu watches as Tanjiro performs the sun-breathing techniques that completely scar Muzan, who tries to counter. He then sends an attack towards Tanjiro, but Giyu is the one to block it, seeing an opportunity for Tanjiro to kill him now and end everything. Now, all you need to do is finish this. As he turns his head back, he only sees that Tanjiro had completely passed out while standing up, still gripping his blade in his hand. Giyu then looked back towards the other way to see Muzan disappearing from the scene. As he tried to check on Tanjiro, someone else appeared. Nezuko then protected him in her demonic state, but was still human in a way. Giyu prepared to kill her, thinking she would eat Tanjiro, but then she spoke. Stay away from my brother. Giyu was shocked and decided to knock her out as well. Then, first, he took them both to the Orokodaki, who gave his word that this girl would serve the Slayer corpse, as well as her brother. They all look back at Giyu and to Tanjiro, who promises to lay his life down if Nezuko ever were to harm a regular person. Kaguya then tells Tanjiro that he must keep his word, but he will allow it, seeing as they will be very useful to them. The Hashira are still skeptical, until Giyu tosses Tanjiro's blade to him. Show them the breathing style that you used. Tanjiro takes a deep breath in and one out. He performs the dance of the fire god, causing many of the Hashira to turn to Rengoku, asking if he was another one of his students. I do not know this boy, but those flames are different from mine, yet still very powerful. Ubuyashiki had fell to his knees seeing this and asked for the boy's name. Tanjiro Tsukigikuni. Ubuyashiki began crying and actually ran to Tanjiro while looking at the other Hashira. Obadiah asked him to explain this reaction, with Kaguya stating that this boy is the descendant of a man who created the first breathing techniques, which all the others would derive from. He may be their key to salvation. Still, all the Hashira had their doubts, and the meeting would end. Tanjiro and Nezuko stay at the Butterfly Mansion for a little bit, and try to leave. However, the Butterfly girls don't let him, as this is where he has more total concentration training and some other training. He's had it throughout his whole life. But after this training, it becomes more like second nature to him. Tanjiro continuously goes on missions with his sisters for a couple more years. And during this time is when his distant cousin will become a Hashira, as now we can connect the story with the canon timeline, as we see an older Tanjiro now with longer hair at a medium length, with it in a ponytail in the same fashion as Yoriichi, with his signature box on his back with Nezuko inside. It was the afternoon in a town that was having its women stolen by demons. Tanjiro sat upon a roof following a young man throughout a town as he was depressed after losing his wife and having it being blamed on him. When he's alone, Tanjiro then confronts him. Kazumi, can you tell me something? I'd like to help you. The younger man turns to Tanjiro and begins explaining the story of how she just vanished in the middle of the night. As Tanjiro listens closely, he wonders how the abilities of this demon works, and once night falls, he begins scouting all over the town and picks up the scent quickly. He bursted throughout the town with speed, into a house where he sliced the head off a demon before he could even grab the girl. Tanjiro then watched his body fade into nothing as the girl would wake up. Is it over? From behind the girl on the wall, another demon appears to try and grab her. But Tanjiro is so fast that he slices his head off as well, while still jumping into the portal. He winds up in a separate dimension, where he can see the final demon lurking. It also sees Tanjiro, and fear strikes into its heart, so much so that it petrifies the demon, allowing Tanjiro to kill it and then escape. Our protagonist returns to the surface, swinging the blood off of his katana while also sheathing it. Thank you, Kazumi. This couldn't have been done without you. So that's it? You're just gonna leave? I still have nothing. She's gone. He begins crying and yelling at Tanjiro, who stops him by holding a finger to his head. You say you have nothing, and you say that she's gone. Yet, you still have memories of her that keep her alive within your own soul. There's no need to cry, but honor her death and continue living for the both of you. Tanjiro then heads off from the town, and the eagle flies above his head, telling him of another demon hiding within Akaza, Tokyo. It only takes him 2 days of travel from his current location to reach this place. And when he arrives, it's more like a city than a town. It was a beautiful place, which Tanjiro enjoyed the sights of. He had stopped outside the city and went to a local food cart buying himself and Nezuko something to eat. I wonder if the demon is in the city or just around it. Tanjiro lets his thoughts roam for a moment while he continues to eat, as here he picks up the scent of a demon. But this time it's not Muzan. He's in Tokyo, but he's not inside the city. He's further away in his home, as he could also sense Tanjiro as well. That damn sun-breathing brat. We then see Muzan's scarred face from the last battle with Tanjiro, as he then sends demons after him, but we don't exactly get to see who they are yet. Tanjiro instead had picked up the scent of Yushiro and Lady Tamio, entering the invisible home with Nezuko. As he steps through, Yushiro confronts him. "Who are you, boy? And why have you brought this ugly demon with you?" Seeing Yushiro, Tanjiro doesn't hesitate and grabs his blade, holding it to the throat of the young demon. "Get that filthy black blade away from me. If you're here for Lady Tamio, she's busy right now." "Who is that? Another demon that you're protecting?" Tanjiro then sheathed the blade, looking forward, with the see-through world being able to see the woman inside the building, causing Yushiro to poke his eyes. "Ouch! Why did you do that?" "I see. Those eyes of yours led you here. Very troublesome. Alright, come with me. You might be of use to us." Tanjiro is then led into the house, where he meets Lady Tamio, but she falls down upon seeing him. "It's you, the man from many centuries ago. But how?" She looks at Tanjiro, as he was the spitting image of Yoriichi. But as she focuses more, she realizes that Tanjiro must be his descendant. "Forgive me for that. You just look like an old friend." They have a conversation about turning people from demon to human, but mid-conversation they are attacked. As the Tamari balls fly into the room, Tanjiro cuts through all of them and then looks through the hole that was created in the wall. 3 demons then stand there: Susumaru, Yahaba, and Mukago, the lower 4 demon. The lower moon then hides behind the others, showing her shy personality, as Tanjiro would let Nezuko out of the box, telling her to protect Tamio and Yushiro, as he would dash forward while smiling. "I won't let them mess up my chance to save Nezuko." As Tanjiro begins using total concentration, his direction is changed and he slips. From in front of him, Susumaru appeared, swinging her fist, sending him flying into a wall. Tanjiro then looks up, seeing Yahaba. "Oh, okay. I see. That's its ability, and hers must be those spheres." Now, as for that last one, Tanjiro then scans the battlefield but doesn't see Mukago. Wait, where did she go? Mukago then appears behind Tanjiro from his own shadow, trying to strike him, but he blocks it and swings his own blade, cutting off her hand, forcing her back into the shadows, giving Tanjiro a breath to truly think. As Susumaru prepares the next attack, Nezuko comes out of nowhere in her controlled demon form, as the blood of Yoriichi allows her to fully control her demonic state, and she kicks off her head, which kills the demon. From this, Tanjiro is able to dash forward towards Yahaba. The arrows come forward, but Tanjiro flips over them and then throws his blade towards him. Sunflower thrust. Tanjiro throws it in a manner causing it to spin, which actually cuts off the head of Yahaba. The Tsukigikuni siblings now stand back to back, wondering where the lower moon demon would come from. Tanjiro then thinks harder about the ability, and the moment replays where Mukago appeared from the shadows. His eyes would widen as he yells for Nezuko, who uses the pink flames to burn the entire ground below them, as this also erases their shadows because of how much light will be present in the area. Mukago is burned and forced out from the shadows, as Tanjiro dashes that way, seeing the scared face of a lower moon. He changes his attack to clear blue sky, feeling pity for the demon and killing her in one single blow. Tamio then looks on amazed at the breathing technique of Tanjiro and the blood demon art of Nezuko. Both were amazing, and truly might be the ones to defeat Muzan. As after the battle, Lady Tamio takes her chance to extract the blood from the lower moon demon in order to begin studying it, and she thanks Tanjiro for his quick work, and even Yushiro, who is forced to compliment his strength. The 4 then become allies from this moment on, and Tanjiro heads out of Tokyo, following his bird to another mission. His eagle alerts him of a mission in the southeast, where he would notice another slayer on the trail as well. Tanjiro would wait for the conversation between the slayer and the girl to finish. However, she's the one to bring him into it, calling him cute. Zenitsu then turns, freaking out, realizing Tanjiro does have attractive features as he begins yelling at him, causing Tanjiro to hit him in the head. Quiet down. We have a mission to do. Now let's go. Zenitsu claims that he doesn't want to go, causing Tanjiro to look down at him in disgust, leaving him there and heading towards the house alone. When he arrives into the area, Tanjiro also notices 2 kids standing outside, so he talks to them. They explain that this just isn't any house. There were monsters inside, one of which who took their elder brother. Tanjiro would nod. I'll save him and anyone else who's inside. As he says this, a drum sound is heard, and then a man comes flying out of a window. Tanjiro runs, catching him, asking if he was okay. I finally did it. I made it out of the house. On the outside. Freedom. The man runs away after saying this, not saying a word. Tanjiro then looks up at the house and heads inside. And once there, he uses the see-through world to then pinpoint some of the demons. Tanjiro then slashes through them without hesitation, as he's killed about 5 of them so far, but then he sees something weird coming right at him. Another Slayer bursted through the wall and bounced around before heading down a hallway. Tanjiro called this strange until he heard the sound of a drum, which would flip him into the room with the Lower Moon 6 demon, who had been promoted once again thanks to the loss of many Lower Moon demons, and he had been given more blood from Muzan himself. Tanjiro then looked towards him and saw the kid in the room as well. I'll have to wait for an opening and then make my move. He taps one of the drums, spinning the room, but while he does so, Tanjiro would float midair. He then punches him. Tanjiro blocks but is sent into the back wall, where he has to spin to avoid multiple slashes coming from the demon as well. He's quick, and those attacks are unpredictable. I'll need to focus a little bit more. Tanjiro then begins to utilize total concentration, preparing his next attack. The drum demon then looks ahead, fearful, because it sees Yoriichi instead of Tanjiro. Out of nowhere, the Slayer with the boar head then bursted into the room, swinging his blades towards the demon, yelling he's got him now. Kyogai then raises his arms to block the attack. However, in that moment, Tanjiro was there as well, reacting perfectly. Sun breathing. Raging sun. The torso and head of the Lower Moon demon is cut off with 2 single strikes, as here we do get his backstory, but Tanjiro doesn't even look his way. Instead, he turned towards the boy, asking if he was okay. The young child stated he was fine now, but Tanjiro was then kicked into the wall by Inosuke. You have a demon with you. She's my sister, and there's no need for us to fight. The battle is over. Tanjiro walks the boy out to his siblings, who are sitting down with Zenitsu. While they regroup, Tanjiro then dodges a punch from Inosuke. Their hand-to-hand battle begins, but here it's more of a one-sided battle. Inosuke's flexibility shocks Tanjiro, but he still can't even land a single hit. Tanjiro doesn't even raise his fist to combat him, until Inosuke manages to hit the box on his back, as Tanjiro dodges his next strike, landing one of his own, knocking the mask off of his head. Tanjiro's eagle then tells him of another mission that the 3 of them must go on. Slayers have already been sent to the Spider Mountain, but no reports have come back. Wait, why hasn't a Hashira been sent then? They have been alerted but are currently occupied with their own task. Since Tanjiro is the closest rank to Hashira, he will be sent there, as Ubuyashiki has a special request for him to go. Tanjiro nods, thanking him for the honor, and tells the other Slayers to then follow him. They first do stop and rest at the elderly woman's house, and soon after head towards their mission and arrive at the base of Mount Natagumo. Tanjiro looks up, and then closes his eyes. He sniffs the air, saying that there's more than one in the mountain. And I smell lots of blood. Tanjiro dashes on ahead, leaving Zenitsu and Inosuke in the dust. Ganpachi, get back here. Come on, crybaby, we need to catch up to him. Zenitsu then grabs the leg of Inosuke, stating that Tanjiro is strong enough to handle it on his own, which causes Inosuke to then run off without him, which has a butterfly effect, making Zenitsu go on as well, especially when he thinks of Nezuko being there with Tanjiro. Speaking of our protagonist, we see him cutting down multiple Slayers from some spider webs, but they also begin attacking him. Their strings then send them all crashing down on Tanjiro, as he's forced to dodge and block their attacks, which was no problem for him at all. However, finding a way to stop them is. Even just cutting one of the threads could prove to be fatal to them. Tanjiro then looks around, performing the first form, dancing around the slayers, while also setting them free. As after he does this, he begins to notice the threads of the spiders. Then, another lower moon appears before them, as if he was floating in the air. Don't disturb my family's peace. He steps on the spider webs, and then launches himself high up into the mountain. Tanjiro looks around, as Zenitsu and Inosuke arrive to the battlefield as well. Zenitsu was shaking intensely with fear, while Inosuke didn't flinch at all. He jumped over Tanjiro and landed on the ground. Beast breathing, spatial awareness. Inosuke locates the spider mom, and Tanjiro heads there alone. He arrives in top speed, and before she could even react, her head was cut off by him. That makes one, but just how many are there? Tanjiro runs around helping as many slayers as he could, cutting them down until a large demon would appear. The father of the spider family stood over Tanjiro, who had his back turned and threw a punch down. As he does so, it's caught by Nezuko, who is in her own demon form with her horn. Thanks, Nezuko. Can I leave him to you? She nods, and Tanjiro guides the slayers to a safer location. As he then points in the direction, multiple slayers are hung up by strings and begin attacking him. Tanjiro flips away. As more webs begin to appear, he's forced to cut through them. Still, he takes a little bit of damage, leading to Rui and his sister smiling. The two siblings rush Tanjiro, who blocks their attacks with pinpoint accuracy. He clashes with Rui over and over, realizing he was the lower moon demon that he was looking for. If that's the case, then I won't hold back here. You two have taken too many lives already. Tanjiro then jumps back, taking a deep breath in, and we see his Slayer mark activate even further as he opens his eyes once again. We then cut over to Nezuko, who was going blow for blow with the demon father while she was fighting. As she goes for another attack, her arm is grabbed, but Inosuke jumps from the air, cutting off the demon's arm. Hey there, I'm gonna rip you to shreds. Nezuko then nods as the two then turn to face the demon together. Nezuko rips out her bamboo and smiled before vanishing, appearing above the demon. She then kicks through his other arm, sending it flying into a tree, as Inosuke compliments her strength, and the two rush in, finishing off this demon as well. Zenitsu, on the other hand, was fighting the same demon he was before, running away right now. But he does run into a tree, knocking himself out, which awakens the true warrior within him that defeats this demon. He lays on top of the small building, wondering if the poison that was in his body would kill him, but he was found by Nezuko and Inosuke, as this is where we get our first look at her healing abilities. But this time, reinforcements had also arrived, and realized that this battle was almost over. Giyu runs ahead, seeing the final moments of the battle of Tanjiro versus the two siblings. He dodges Rui's attacks, angering the demon, but Tanjiro completely stops for a moment, with Rui seeing the change, and this as a chance, sending out multiple webs to cut him down. Sun breathing, burning bones, summer sun. Giyu then watches on in amazement at the performance of Tanjiro, who struck them down easily, with not even breaking a sweat. He then looks towards Tanjiro, seeing the once crazy warrior, but now a refined user of the breathing techniques, a slayer who could become a Hashira very soon.